According to the findings of the research commissioned in 2015 and conducted in 14 African countries, many children continue to be forced into internal displacement and the majority of others in refugee camps, denying them basic needs and education. The report shows that armed groups target both boys and girls for recruitment and use. It outlines cases of kidnapping, sexual violence, maiming of the children, and in extreme cases, killings. As Africa marks the Day of the African Child this year, this report is the focus.
It's still a long way ahead because we should silence the guns by 2020, and then probably we may not be talking of armed conflicts. And we may be looking at other ways of looking after children rather than even just trying to protect them from conflicts, which is very, very unnecessary.
Ethiopia is the largest refugee hosting country in Africa, offering a home to over 700,000 refugees from Sudan, Somalia, and South Sudan. Over half of these are children. UNICEF Ethiopia, that operates in the refugee camps, says that in addition to the immediate physical threats that children in the crisis face, they are also at risk of deep-rooted emotional scars.
Children living in conflict are often exposed to extreme trauma, putting them at risk of living in a state of toxic stress, a condition that inhibits brain cell connections with significant lifelong consequences to their cognitive, social, and physical development.
Experts dealing with children in conflicts, however, raise the fact that the African children living in the refugee host communities end up facing even more challenges than refugees themselves.
There are host communities which don't have the same access to basic social services as the refugees in the camps have. And as you can imagine, this can cause tension between the two groups.
The report is urging for preventive security measures in the continent, but where needed, reactive measures to end conflicts. Both of these, it says, should put the need to protect the rights of the children in the conflict areas as priority. As Africa marks the Day of the African Child, only 41 out of 54 African countries have signed and ratified the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. This report is further pushing for the ratification and domestication of international human rights instruments for the protection of children's rights. Coletta Wanjohi for CCTV in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.